Hi, I'm Kathrine Reid, host of the St. Paul Forum, and this week we're speaking with Urban Boatbuilders. That's coming up this week on the St. Paul Forum. Welcome to the St. Paul Forum. I'm Kathrine Reid, and joining me today is Marc Hosmer, Executive Director of Urban Boatbuilders. Welcome, Marc.
Thanks so much. Great to be here.
And you've got a guest or
I'll introduce
colleague.
Maila Lee, who was an apprentice at Urban Boatbuilders, and now is on staff as a boat building instructor.
That's fantastic. So I would love to know, I know you're not the founder of Urban Boatbuilders, but it's been around for several years. What is the purpose and mission behind the work?
Yeah, so Urban Boatbuilders was started about 20 years ago, and we're a nonprofit organization. We use the building of wooden boats as a way to engage youth and to teach them skills about academic skills, social skills, and vocational skills to help them build bright futures.
Fantastic. So it's not a school,
Nope.
but it teaches, and you had the experience of actually coming and learning there. How did you end up coming to Urban Boatbuilders?
How I ended up coming to Urban Boatbuilders, I actually found them building two canoes at a lake, which is called Lake Como. I was working as a summer with the YGC, and I came across them, and I talked to Brian and Phil, who was the instructor back then, and I went to talk to Phil, and I told him that I wanted to do what they were doing.
Nice.
So Phil was surprised that I was a gal, and I went up to him, and he gave me his business card, and I called him 2 months later because at the time they were full, and I applied, and he hired me.
Nice. So you literally they were building a boat at the lake, at Lake Como, and you just said, I want to know what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
You were just enticed. Do you do that kind of building out in the public space?
You know, occasionally.
frequently?
Our main programs are a school partnership program where we go into schools across the Twin Cities area and build boats with groups of students there. Then we have an apprenticeship program for 16 to 19-year-old youth in St. Paul. It's an after-school paid employment training program. But occasionally we get to do fun things like go out and build boats at Lake Como, or last year at the Minnesota State Fair, where we built a boat from start to finish there. So
Nice.
we try and get out and give our apprentices the opportunity to be out in public and to show the community that they're doing positive things.
Where were you at the State Fair?
We were at the Department of Natural Resources building, right by the fish
I
pond.
love that building.
Absolutely.
If you've not been in that building, go to that building. So inside there, in sort of an open area you were building?
Yeah, we were actually out under the sort of the overhang behind the building, looking over the fish pond.
So the boats are primarily canoes, not kayaks?
You know, we build a variety of
You do?
wooden boats, canoes, kayaks, rowboats. There's a couple different versions that we build, but canoes are sort of our signature boat that we do.
Mm-hmm. What were they building the day you found them?
Skin on frame. That's what they called it. Nowadays we call it the Wilderness Traveler.
The Wilderness Traveler?
Mm-hmm.
Nice. And so in the initial founding of the organization, what was the idea? Who was behind it?
Yeah,
How did it get started?
It was about 20. It's actually exactly 20 years ago this year.
That's right, because you had a party for,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Yep.
Mhm.
And it was a group of community members and community organizers that were excited about boat building, but wanted there to be more to it than just getting together and build boats. And so they said, hey, let's get youth involved. And so they got a couple of partnerships with local youth organizations and started building boats with youth. And it's just grown since then. But we're still holding true to that original vision of solid youth engagement and giving youth the opportunity to develop skills and to experience success.
Mm-hmm. What was it about the boat itself, or this idea? Was it more about the building of something? Was it the boat itself? What really captured your imagination?
I think it was the boat and just doing a lot of hands-on. I never had any experience with working with canoes before, nor hands-on activity. And I kind of laughed when I saw the skin. I didn't think it was going to float. I really didn't. I was talking to Brian, and he told me that it's a different kind of skin than most of the canoes that you see nowadays. and it was like, to me it looked like plastic, but it wasn't plastic. It's called ballistic nylon, and so yeah, they invited us to come back because I had thought that it wasn't gonna float. So then they invited us to come back in a week to see the launching, and in a week it did float, and that's when I went up to Phil and I told him that I wanted to do what they were doing because I thought it was a cool experience.
So when you did get into the program and you were apprenticing, is that the role, or that was the first thing you did?
Yep, I was an apprenticeship. I'm an apprentice.
Mm-hmm. What was involved in that? What did you need to learn?
I think it was a lot of teamwork and leadership roles. When I was there, I don't really communicate, so then there was like also a lot of communication involved, working together as a group to problem solve something. And yeah, sometimes they will give us the opportunity to lead the group. So yeah, I get the opportunity to lead the group once in a while and play a role in leadership.
Yeah. So, and what was how long does that program take?
The apprenticeship program now is a 6-month opportunity for youth. And you can hear from Maila that it's more than about those hard skills of building and using tools and wood. It's about developing all those skills that you need to be as successful as Maila is today.
Mm-hmm. And so the idea of building a boat, you could do it by yourself, presumably, but that's not really the value that you're trying to promote. Is that correct?
Yeah, we're trying to promote just the hands-on learning opportunity. So many youth don't have the opportunity to build things, to work with wood or with tools, and so we're bringing academic concepts into something that they can see and feel and experience. So in the schools, we're really focused on that academic concepts. In our apprenticeship program, it's those skills that work readiness skills that will carry them into their future.
So which schools are you working with?
In St. Paul, we are in Boys Totem Town, the Ramsey County Juvenile Corrections Facility. We're at Journeys, which is an alternative high school. We're at Midway Montessori Middle School and Murray Middle School. And then we also have a project right now going on at Ober Community Center, which is part of Union Gospel Mission.
Nice. And so is anyone eligible to join in if they're connected to any of these institutions, or is there another threshold for them?
Yeah, we work to partner with schools and meet the needs of the school. So, for example, the program right now at Parkway Montessori is with an art teacher. And so he has a group of students, and they're learning to be creative and to build things, and the canoe building is a big piece of that. Others, we focus, we work with a math teacher and do math skills. So it's up to the school to really determine who the students are that participate in those offsite partnership projects.
And what's your background, Marc?
My background, it's youth development and nonprofit management. So I, grew up and started working at a summer camp when I was 15 and loved that, and I've been working with youth ever since.
And so the idea, the curricular area, the teaching, who handles that? How is that mostly driven by the teachers that you work with in the schools?
Yeah, it's a collaboration between the teacher and our boat building instructors who go out to the schools and work with the students there.
And so you're serving as an instructor now.
Mm-hmm.
And where do you teach?
In the shop. Well,
Actually, on the physical location, which is just behind University at Hampton on Myrtle. So tell us a little bit about that facility. What's going on in there? I hope we can show some pictures with this episode so we can show you what it looks like.
Yeah, so we just moved to this new facility about 4 or 5 months ago now, and Urban Boatbuilders was in a small little storefront in Midway, and it was great, but it was just too small for our growing programs. We've been really working to reach out and serve more and more youth. And so we decided we needed a bigger space. And so we moved to this wonderful 5,000 square foot facility and built it out to be just a phenomenal boat building workshop.
It's absolutely gorgeous. I was just there briefly for your open house, but it is a beautiful space. It feels very welcoming. It feels very active. But you've kind of got the living room feel, you've got the building feel, you've got what else? I mean, how would you characterize the space?
I think welcoming is really one of the key words that we were looking to create. We're working with youth who face barriers to employment or may have, had some difficulties in their past at times. And so we want a space where they can come and feel welcome and be warm and a place where they want to be. And we do that both with the space, but also with the staff and the instructors that are creating those positive relationships with them.
Obviously, the kind of the joy you bring to it, your own curiosity is infectious, I'm sure, for others. how do the students get to the space? Do they, is this mostly after school? So are they responsible to come on their own? I mean, you're well located for public transit, but how does that work?
So yeah, they do come on their own. They take the city bus, or usually their parents give them a ride. The light rail, Green Line.
How many hours do they spend on any given day in the space?
It's 3 hours a day, 3 times a week.
So they have to make a commitment to
Mm-hmm.
that? And then during that, so 3 hours a day, 3 times a week?
Yep.
And while they're doing that, and that's over the 6 months.
Mhm.
So what do they accomplish in that time?
I think they accomplish a lot. From my own experience, I think mainly it's self-confidence and believing in myself. For the apprentice, I also think they could do the same, because when they come in, sometimes they'd be like, I don't think I can do it, but I push them a little and I keep telling them, I think you can do it, I just don't think you have enough self-confidence. And when they do it and they achieve it, they feel proud of themselves. So yeah, just kind of a lot of stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. And as you're staying in your teaching role now, do you expect this to be something you'll do for a number of years? What's your goal now? Where are you in your life path?
And right now, I'm currently not in school, but I was going to Augsburg College for a while. I'm not taking a class this semester, but I'm planning on going back, transferring to a community college first. And I am hoping to still continue as an instructor part-time.
Great. So you're just started a bachelor's then, essentially,
Yep.
with the Augsburg experience, and then,
Yeah.
and do you have a community college in mind?
Yeah, MCTC or St. Paul. I'm undecided between those two. I just think that it'd be a lot cheaper to take my generals there than to go to a more expensive school.
Yeah. I love Augsburg, but I understand. They're great. I love the community colleges too. So do you picture yourself continuing to teach? Is that the path you want to be on? Or, I mean, are you motivated by the boats? I'm kind of curious where this...
As in, like, my long-term goals.
Yeah, I'm kind of thinking as you go through your educational, does this create I'm kind of wondering if it begins to create what kinds of paths it might create for different students. And obviously you can speak mostly for yourself, but you may have heard from others what it's starting to make them think about.
Well, like my long-term goal, I think I would like to become an engineer one day. And being able to work with Urban Boatbuilders, I think it also plays a role with like just building stuff. And it has something, engineering has, as like civil engineering has stuff to do with building, not exactly with wood, but then it's still reading stuff and doing math just like Urban Boatbuilders. So yeah, that's my long-term goal, is to become an engineer. But as of teaching at Urban Boatbuilders, I'd still consider doing that too.
It's got you hooked.
Yeah.
Do you think that hands-on work, I mean, you're talking about really abstract processes with, engineering and math. I mean, has it helped make math more manageable for you?
When making canoes and paddles, there is like math to it, mainly fractions. And it does help. My strong points are math and science. So I think it's more just, me working with Urban Boatbuilders is more of me like just building that self-confidence, thinking that I can do it.
So it's really those key life skills that you're promoting above all else?
Yeah, absolutely. Those are really what we're striving for. But, certainly math plays a role in everything that we do. And so Maila happens to be strong in math, but there are a lot of students out there who don't feel confident in math or don't understand what that equation on the board really means. But when you say, hey, we need to find the center point of this piece of wood, and it's 20 3/4, let's do that, let's divide that fraction. All of a sudden there's a reason why they have to do that work and why they have to think about it, and it's important that they get it right. So it really makes that math sort of come alive for them.
Measure twice, cut once, is that?
That's the saying.
Exactly. If you're just joining us, I'm speaking with the executive director and staff of Urban Boatbuilders. I mean, I had a dad who did a lot of woodwork in the basement, so I saw many times that it worked and many times when it didn't. Tell us how long you've got these beautiful pieces. Who made these and what's involved in making these?
Yeah, these were made by our youth apprentices, and so when an apprentice starts in the program, they have an introductory project. So they either make a paddle or a toolbox, and it's something that they get to keep when they're done with it. But it really gives them the opportunity to learn about the tools that they're going to be using through the boat building process, and about measuring and marking and cutting, and so that you can see that they make just incredible paddles. They're just beautiful works of art. They can be proud of in a short period of time before they get onto the bigger boat building projects.
Is there a retail component? If I wanted to buy a paddle like this, is that an option?
Absolutely, yeah.
You can place an order?
You can place an order. We sell our boats and our paddles as a way to fund the program. So if folks are looking for a boat or a paddle, they should check out the website, urbanboatbuilders.org.
Kayak paddles too?
We could certainly make kayak paddles. We don't have them readily available.
Not readily available.
We could certainly do an order for that.
Yeah. So one of the things I've heard, Marc, is that you have significantly expanded the program in the last 3 years since you've come. Significantly. It sounds like it's more like a 300-something thousand organization, and it was, what, when you joined?
Yeah, the budget was about 150 or so when I joined.
You've doubled it.
We're up to about 385,000 this year.
Man.
So, yeah, we've experienced a lot of success just telling our story and getting people excited about the impact that we're making in the lives of the youth that we're serving. So we've been able to triple our apprenticeship program. So in the past, Maila was with a crew of 5 other youth, and now we have 18 apprentices that get to go through the program at any given time. And we've increased our number of school partnership programs as well, which means that more youth get to experience boat building and the pride and self-confidence that comes along with it.
Now you mentioned I'd forgotten the name of the prison-related school. Oh, what is it?
Boys Totem Town?
Boys Totem Town. Where is that actually located?
It's located, it's just east of the river, southeast of St. Paul a little ways. I don't know the exact location.
And those students are juveniles who've, they're serving a certain amount of time. They're in residence there.
Right.
And what is your objective in terms of what's that relationship and what's the purpose? It's a very important topic. We're trying to address the prison population and recidivism, and that's a big word that means not sending them back in again. What do you hope to accomplish in that partnership?
Primarily we're working with the school that's a part of Boys Totem Town, and so we're trying to get these youth who, the reason they're in Boys Totem Town is there's a number of different reasons, but a lot of times it's because they just haven't been engaged in education, and they haven't had the support they've needed to be successful. And so we want to give them an opportunity to learn in a creative, hands-on way, and to most importantly build relationships with Phil, who's our instructor who goes out there. A lot of youth who come out of Boys Totem Town actually end up enrolling in our apprenticeship program. So it's an opportunity for them to really get a fresh start and to have a supportive community and have a small income and to learn skills and really change their trajectory in life. And as you said, recidivism is something we're really concerned about. We find that youth who come through our program don't reoffend nearly as often. It's actually a 60% reduction in reoffense for youth who are participating in Urban Boatbuilders.
That's fantastic. Well, I'm sure that is a reason why you're getting more and more support. Because it is, I think my own opinion is if you can find some meaning, your imagination was struck that day, and then you found meaning, and like you said, found confidence. It's engagement, and clearly the welcoming environment, the peer idea. You're not strictly their peers anymore, but you have been a peer to those students because you're now older than, what's your top age? 19, did you say?
19.
Yeah. So this is giving them some momentum, and it would seem to me that there's a lot of talk about the skilled workforce. What you're doing also really transitions people into that skilled workforce. That you're talking about engineering. That's music to a lot of people's ears. They want to hear more and more people going down that path, and kind of what's that combination you're talking about? You're seeing that they're starting to get some career aspirations?
Absolutely. One of the other pieces that we integrate into the program is field trips to local businesses so that the apprentices have an opportunity to see what's possible, what you can do with the skills that you're learning at Urban Boatbuilders, or what you can do just in general. So we go to the Carpenters Union Training Center, and they can see what that's all about. We work with other boat builders and engineering firms, and so we really want to expose them to a variety of different opportunities that might be possible for them and just sort of expand their horizons a bit.
I've just given the chatter about this working with a Wyoming Machine is one of my clients, and they it's a women-run business but doing machine shop, but they have precision machinery, but they're using a lot of ideas that they think if you can sew a pattern, you can do machining. It's kind of trying to translate some things. But the great concern they're addressing is the shortage, a perception that there's a shortage of people coming through the pipeline. Is that what you hear from your funders, or is it another direction?
I think that's certainly part of it. There's a shortage of folks who are going into the trades and into other industries that are really math and science heavy, and so funders want to find a way to get more youth inspired, and I think they see that within Urban Boatbuilders, and certainly, boat building I think helped inspire Maila and does so with the other youth that we're serving all the time.
Yeah. I'm just sort of curious. I know you've mentioned that you're going to look at a community college. Are you looking at some partnerships with the community colleges, or is that a next step for you?
Yeah, that's really the next thing that we're really trying to work on is what's the next step for the youth after they leave the apprenticeship program. So, we work with, again, some local businesses and try and find placements for youth once they're graduating, but we want to be able to expand that and make sure that every youth leaving our program has an opportunity to either get a job or figure out what's next for school, and community college is certainly one of those amazing options here in the Twin Cities.
The quality is so high. I mean, like you said, you're choosing between MCTC and St. Paul College, both of which have just exceptional programs, but we're really blessed with a number. What's your, it's a political question, but free community college, do you think that would be a good move for the country? Do you think it would make a difference? That's a proposal that President Obama has put forward. We need free community colleges. I don't know. What do you think?
Well, for me, I think it would be cool. I do, because I'm an independent student, so I think it would be cool that if students do get free community college, give them the opportunity to get a head start and then change into a university. So yeah.
Get a good start.
Yeah.
And no debt, which would be really great. In terms of what else are you trying to build as you think about this? You've got a strong board, I take it?
We've got a strong board. We're certainly always looking to add more members to the board. We're building our volunteer base, certainly. There's a couple of opportunities for folks to get involved either through board and committees or through actual hands-on work in the shop. We have a Wednesday night open shop from 6:30 to 9:30 that people can come and participate in if they're interested in learning more.
So you just walk in?
Yep, walk in, come as you are, and we'll put whatever skills you have to use.
And it smells good in there too, right?
If you like burning.
If you like it, if it's not burning, that's right, because you do a little of that. But this smell of sawdust, but you've got it all probably vented, I assume, and it's a good environment for that.
Yeah, and we're also just looking to build general support for the organization. It's been a small organization for a really long time, and we're trying to change that. We're trying to get the word out to say, hey, we're here. Urban Boatbuilders is a really important part of St. Paul and part of the Twin Cities community, and the more people know about it, the better.
That's fantastic. So I understand that you've been able to attract some new funding. I know you've got this opportunity to have people vote on your behalf, but whether people will be able to do that, they'll have to pay attention to the time of when they view this. But why don't you tell us about the kinds of support that is now coming to you, a couple of the different kinds of funders. So this one that involves the voting.
Sure, so the voting, it's an opportunity through the Opus Group. They have the Jerry Roundhorst Building Community Award in honor of Jerry Roundhorst, who founded the organization 62 years ago. And so Urban Boatbuilders is the one organization from Minnesota that's been selected as a finalist, and we're competing against 8 other organizations from other states. And it's all based on online voting. So if folks are watching this and want to help out, one great way would be to go to our website. Right on the front page, there will be a link on there through the end of the voting, and they can vote for us, because it's all based on which organization gets the most votes.
And you've got some creative ideas to attract people's attention, I hope?
Absolutely, yeah. We're working on Facebook and trying to spread the word through all of our networks and
But you need to motivate the whole state then.
Absolutely.
That's kind of tricky. I'm interested in the idea, we are known as a water state, and the previous interview I just did was all about water, actually. The woman is a water walker. I mean, do you think the idea that it was boats and the connection to our culture around boating, it was an important part of your success? And I'm kind of curious as it translates to our youth, what is that connection, do you think?
Yeah, I think, certainly everyone in Minnesota has at least some connection to a lake or a boat or something where there's a fondness for boating. The reality, though, is that a lot of the youth that we're working with from urban areas haven't experienced that. And so, for a lot of them, when we go out and put a canoe in the water to launch it, it's their first time ever out on a lake. So it's a really great opportunity to connect this rich cultural heritage of Minnesota to youth who might not be experiencing that any other way. So I think it's a really...
It's a different concept and it's not, I don't interpret it as strictly recreational. I mean, recreation is a piece of it, but clearly, obviously, the whole training is around jobs and productivity in a larger human sense. But I think of the boats as having utility as well. And then I'm kind of curious, do those students have fear of the water? Have they learned to swim? I'm just kind of curious about that. Maila, did you swim before you got on the boat?
No, it was my first time canoeing ever, too, when I first started. And then I don't know how to swim, but we always have life jackets on, and there's always a person who do know how to swim with us at all time. And they also teach us like a lot of skills when we're on the water, like learning how to, if we was to flip, learning how to unflip the canoe and draining all the water out.
Yeah,
So
that's really cool.
One of the coolest experiences, and Maila can talk a little bit more about this, is that our apprentices get to go to the Boundary Waters every summer. So not just are we launching on local lakes, but we're doing a 5-day journey into the deep woods and the Boundary Waters.
Really exploring. And
is
you
really
did that?
amazing.
Yeah, I did. I got the opportunity to go twice. When I was a former apprentice, I didn't go that following summer because I joined a camp, and I went to camp instead. But then the following 2 years after that, when I came back and told Phil that I was going to college, they invited me to go to the Boundary Water with them, and I did go. It was a cool experience. I'd never seen nothing like that before, and just being able to see the view it's phenomenal.
Yeah, no kidding.
And then having to talk and communicate with other people, knowing where we're going, doing a lot of portaging, and it's like canoeing nonstop. So yeah.
So one last thought before we close up. Any last message? How do they get them involved?
Yeah, as I've said, we're looking to get the word out about what we do and get more people involved to contribute their time and their talents and their treasures to help us be able to deliver these great programs and to build more youth. So would love it if folks would check out our website at urbanboatbuilders.org or just come down to the shop and see us and learn a little bit more.
Now that I know about Wednesday nights, I may be dropping in because I have a group that ends about 7 o'clock on Wednesday nights right across the street. So I'm glad to know about it. And it's such a welcoming place. So thank you so much. Thank you for joining us. That's all we have time for. Please join us again next week on the St. Paul Forum.